My name is Hilla Dayan. I'm a doctor in sociology and a lecturer teaching in Amsterdam. I grew up in Israel. I'm doing anthropology and sociology, critical theory, memory studies. I like thinking cross-disciplinary about big issues, and one of my great areas of expertise is the conflict and crisis in Israel-Palestine, an attempt to understand the society from which I came, growing up in a Zionist environment, growing up with certain ideas about where you come from and why is it important, considering Jewish history that we have a state and that it is a Jewish state, and thinking critically about this question of identity. Interestingly, the Moroccan branch of my family passed through Marseille on the way. I have a map which shows how this city in the 1950s was full of camps for refugees and displaced persons, and almost all of the massive immigration that came to Israel in the 50s passed through these camps. And one of them was my family, and my father was a baby here. At some point he got sick and he was hospitalized, so the family could not board the ship with everyone else, but they had to stay here for a few months. So I'm interested in not specifically just my family story, but I think the stories of diasporic disconnections is a facet of this saga of the 1950s that is underexplored. And I would like to elaborate on people's lives trajectories and diasporic trajectories and disconnections. Here at Iméra, I want to continue my studies of the political crisis in Israel-Palestine. And I think that to understand better societies, we need another approach, not just to learn about the nitty-gritty politics, but also about the way in which repression of memory and of historical epochs work out in these political crises. There is a whole civilization of Jewish life in the Arab world that has collapsed in 1948 when Israel was established. And this reverberates in Israeli society till today. So I think that for me the hypothesis or the driving force of the project is to understand how come things that have been the Jewish life in the Middle East, which was also somewhat indigenous for centuries, why are we living through an age of supremacism, domination, repression, occupation, apartheid, etc.? And why did we forget what it is to be Jews in the Middle East? So I think my project here is looking at the connection at the dramatic 1950s and 60s moment, at how colonialism and post-colonialism shaped the way that we are today. This gap in memory, this break in memory, and how, despite the gap in the memory and the break, people long for reconnecting to their heritage in the Middle East, but these reconnections are problematic, political, full of conflicts. I'm interested also in the European connection, and that's why I'm here in Marseille, also to call it the European social history of Maghrebi Jews who migrated to Israel in the 50s.